LeBron James is frustrated. And honestly, who could blame him? While he's preparing for what could be one of his final seasons, his team isn't thinking about now. They're planning for the future 2027, to be exact. That's when they'll have max cap space to chase a new superstar core. But for LeBron, that's a problem, because he doesn't have time to wait. He wants to win right now. Next season, his team will intentionally be worse. They've kept the roster light, avoided long-term salary, and passed on big names, all to be ready for a superstar sweepstakes 2 years from now. But here's the part that's really getting under LeBron's skin. The team, crosstown, is doing both. They're preparing for the future and going all in on the present. When you look at their books, they're just as financially flexible in 2027. In fact, their only guaranteed contract that summer is for just over $20 million. But unlike LeBron's side, they didn't throw away the present. They saw an opportunity and took it, arguably pulling off the most complete offseason in the entire league. And the difference is loud. While LeBron's squad stood pat, their rivals went out and loaded up. They brought in a former All-Star floor general. They added one of the smoothest scorers in the game, who took a massive pay cut just for the opportunity. They grabbed a rim-protecting veteran big man. They even managed to snag an athletic forward who fits their system like a glove. All that while keeping their financial future wide open. LeBron's looking across town like, why couldn't we do that? But the answer lies in the whispers behind the scenes. This wasn't just about money. It was about trust, communication, and leadership. Players were sold not just on contracts, but on roles, on opportunity, on what it would feel like to play there. Take the smooth shooting guard they just landed. When he left his old team, he had options. 5 squads lined up to sign him. But it was a phone call that sealed the deal. One of the team's stars called him personally. He didn't sell him with numbers or titles. He told him the truth. I'm not trying to score 30 a night anymore. I want you to eat too. You saw what I did last season with a veteran to guard. I'll do the same for you. It worked. The shooter signed for pennies compared to his previous deal. From a $50 million burden on his last team to just $11 million this year. A player once expected to carry a struggling team is now just a piece of a deep and balanced machine. And it's the perfect fit. There's real spacing, less pressure, better defense to cover his flaws. He shot 50% from the field and 40% from deep last year, but his 41% on catch and shoot threes is where the real magic happens. This is what happens when a player finds the right role. The front office didn't stop there. They pulled off a sneaky trade to land a bouncy forward who thrives in transition and hits catch-and-shoot threes at a high clip. They scooped up a veteran center, known for his rim protection and floor spacing, now ready to come off the bench. And they added a pass-first playmaker with championship DNA. It's ready to guide the second unit. Their current starting center finally gets a real backup. No more scrambling during playoff minutes. No more awkward lineups. Last postseason, they were forced to rely on undersized or inconsistent options behind him. Now, they've got real depth, defense, and flexibility. That matters when you're up against elite front courts in the West. All of this happened with one clever move. They gave their star a $6 million raise, then turned the remaining salary slot into 4 key players. They flipped a mid-level exception into a whole rotation. That's elite front office work, and now the difference is night and day. LeBron's side. They're slow playing the future. They're sitting on salary space. They're watching from the sidelines. Meanwhile, their crosstown rivals just added major firepower and they still have a clean cap sheet 2 years from now. So how good can this team be next season? They won't be alone at the top. One young team out west looks like a dynasty in The making? They've got a blend of youth, athleticism, and chemistry that makes them the favorite to go back-to-back. And there's another quiet contender, smart, deep squad that pulled off a masterstroke of their own this offseason. They unloaded a massive contract and brought in 2 reliable, cheaper rotation pieces. That one trade saved them $30 million and gave them more depth than ever before. Now, they're not just good, they're dangerous. But in the Battle of LA, it's one-sided for now. One team is building a future. The other is trying to win now and still has a future. And LeBron, the tease, watching it all happen from the wrong side of town. Right now, the Western Conference is stacked. But if we're breaking things down by tiers, here's how it looks. At the very top, in Tier 1, is the obvious pick. They've got youth, depth, and coaching, plus the cohesion of a team that's been grinding together for years. Just behind them in Tier 2, a squad that had the most underrated offseason in the league, turning one bad contract into 2 key playoff contributors and saving a fortune in the process. But then there's Tier 3. That's where it gets interesting. Sitting right at the top of that tier are the Clippers. And if they get even a little bit of injury luck this time around, they're not just going to surprise people, they can absolutely make the finals. Even with Kawhi missing over half the season last year, they still managed to win 50 games. That says a lot. If things break right, their ceiling might be the number 2 seed and a deep playoff run, maybe even all the way to the West Finals. But here's the question that's got fans on both sides of Los Angeles talking. How did the Clippers manage to pull this off, while the Lakers couldn't? After all, both franchises are keeping an eye on the same finish line 2027. That year is a reset for both teams. For the Clippers, it's when Kawhi and Harden's deals come off the books. For the Lakers, it's when they're expecting to have Luka Doncic already in uniform, assuming he signs the extension they're praying for. And their big idea: pair Luka with a second superstar in that same summer. That's the dream. The big names expected to hit free agency then: Giannis and Jokic, both guys who could walk right into purple and gold and form another so-called super team. But let's slow down here, because the Lakers already have a top 10 player next to Luka. Say what you want about LeBron, but last season, the man was top 6 in MVP voting and made second-team Ulambi. That's not washed, that's elite. And yet, they're sitting on their hands, waiting for Giannis. What makes them so sure he's even coming, or that he wants to be there at all? To make room for that fantasy, they let a key player walk: Dorian Finney-Smith. He didn't just contribute last season, he changed their identity. With him on the floor, the Lakers were 17 points per 100 possessions better. A true 3-and-D wing, who made life easier for everyone, and they let him go. For cap space? Okay? Keep telling yourself that was worth it. And even if they do land Giannis, is that fit really as perfect as they think? Luka and Giannis both need the ball in their hands. It's not like Giannis had amazing chemistry with his previous point guard. That pick and roll was clunky at times, and both guys need space to operate. How is this going to work better with Luka? As for Jokic, come on, does anyone seriously believe he's leaving? These are 2 of the best creators in the league. But the league isn't just about stacking talent anymore. It's about building chemistry, complementary skill sets, fit. And while the Lakers chase big names and glamour, they're ignoring the smarter path, building around what you already have. They had Luka, they had LeBron, they had depth. They could have gone Lin, but they didn't. Just like they didn't go all-in with LeBron and a D before. They keep chasing the next shiny thing because they're still obsessed with the super team model. But those days are long gone. The Clippers know this. They've watched the league evolve and adjusted every single time. They've surrounded their stars with defense, shooters, athleticism, depth, and IQ. Role players that actually make sense. Guys like Derrick Jones Jr., Zubac, and others who don't need the ball to make an impact. And when the new salary cap rules hit, when that second apron made flexibility harder than ever, they pivoted immediately. Let's be real, it had to hurt letting Paul George walk for nothing. They gave up a haul to get him years ago. The media roasted them, but they knew his contract was bad and his health unreliable. So they moved on. No trades, no forced extension, just clarity. And they were right. That single move unlocked their offseason. With his $48 million off the books, they pivoted, instantly signing 3 strong contributors for $35 million less. If PG stays, none of this happens. They'd be stuck with his knees and a bloated cap sheet. Instead, they upgraded everywhere. That's what a smart front office looks like. And the truth is, the Clippers don't lean on their city's appeal. They don't rely on history or Hollywood. They've built something through smart scouting, strong culture, and calculated decisions. Now compare that to the Lakers. Ask yourself, where would they be if LeBron didn't randomly choose to sign there in 2018? They'd be irrelevant. Their roster was a mess, their front office was lost, and their only saving grace was a superstar choosing them for lifestyle reasons. Then LeBron used his influence to bring in Anthony Davis. None of that was genius front office work. It was just dumb luck. Same story recently. Their current star only arrived after another executive literally called them up and offered him no negotiation, no master plan. Just another stroke of fortune falling into their lap. But luck doesn't last forever, and this offseason proved it. One LA team adjusted, strategized, and built a real path forward. The other sat back and dreamed of 2027 like it's a guarantee. One side made actual moves. The others just hoping now. There are whispers that LeBron might finally be done. The frustration is boiling over, and the rift with the front office runs deeper than most people know. So what happens next? Well, if things don't change fast, LeBron's last chapter in LA might already be written.